Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome
morning.
to Coffee with the Pastors. We've got a related pastoral guest for this week's Coffee with the Pastors. Welcome Nathan Hollenberg, not a Duffy,
Mm-hmm.
from the Linville Creek Church of the Brethren.
Where is Linville Creek, Nathan?
On Broadway,
On
On
Broadway.
but not that Broadway.
Oh,
You're in Broadway, Virginia, about 15 minutes north of Harrisonburg. So,
cool. Well, we've got a few interview questions on. We're bringing everybody to Nova, right? We started getting to Nova, the Nova pastors, but now we're getting to know you all around. So tell us, Nathan, what is it that you love so much about pastoral ministry?
well, I think a lot of your guests have said something similar, but really is relationship. I enjoy worship. I enjoy music. I enjoy, learning about Scripture. But I think ultimately all of that is in the context of relationship and the people that you meet. And there are amazing people at a lot of churches, and so I think as I went into it, I had a deep passion for my faith, but I realized that passion has called me into some meaningful relationships. So, yeah.
Interesting to know, because you're right. Yeah, I mean, this is clearly a significant thing for a lot of the folks that we've interviewed. I wonder if it's unique to our Church of the Brethren communities that are so communally oriented, or if other denominations might answer things a little differently, if they're a little more sacramental or something like that. But
Yeah.
It's good to know we're such a relational bunch, right?
Yeah, and
Well,
probably
and I would
struggling right now to figure out how do we do that?
Right. Well, I think that's important for our church to understand is, we might find creative ways to do worship, but, relationships are very much what we enjoy. And so your pastors are struggling with that too. And it's one of the reasons, so a lot of churches aren't open yet, because relationships are so important that one of the ways we show that is by not putting each other at risk.
Yeah. Definitely.
So how long have you been down at Linville Creek?
I've been at Linville Creek for a little over 4 years, about 4.5 years.
Okay. So what is it that makes a ministry at Linville fun and special?
Well, some of my favorite things about the congregation is a musical congregation. We have a wonderful minister of music, but beyond that, we have a lot of talented, just musical people who enjoy to sing or play instruments, and so yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I sometimes take for granted, just how wonderful our music ministry is. We have lots of young families with children, which is great, with two boys of my own, and a lot of good leadership that have fun activities for our children. But even deeper than that, kind of relating to the first question, it's a very relationship-oriented congregation. So lots of potlucks, lots of doing things together, and to the point, one of the things I really appreciate about Linville Creek is that relationship is more important than theology, which sounds a little bit strange, but it's not that we all agree on all things. In fact, I've had conversations with people that have disagreed with things I've said in the pulpit, but relationship is more important than those theologies. So you don't have people just getting angry at each other. It's been a really bright spot of what communal living is like, even if we don't all agree or think differently.
Yeah, and that can be an oasis and respite from the rest of the world that can't have, vulnerable conversations.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is it time?
It's time.
All right. Your pop quiz question is to define, I don't know if I can say it, macro-theodoctrinalism. Macro?
You can't. You can't say it. How am I supposed to define it?
Macro-theodoctrinalism.
There you go. It is a newer terminology, I think.
Yes, it is.
I understand Well, there's like three little words in that you can hear. You can hear macro and theo and doctrinalism. And I think a lot of people get confused about what this means because they hear macro and they immediately think large, right? We think macro and micro.
Yeah.
They hear theo and they're correct when they think of God, right? Theology, it's that Greek root word for God. Then they hear doctrinalism, right? Which is like a strict adherence to something. But the trick about this, I think, is that instead of thinking macro as big, we can use macro in a different way. It's like computer technology. It's why it's new theology.
Whoa.
You know what macro is when it comes to computers? Like you push one button, right? And then it does a lot of functions automatically. So what macro theodoctrinalism truly is the strict adherence to the belief that we are living in the matrix. And that faith is just a macro programmed into us. It's heretical. I was freed from this belief by Neo. I don't know if you've ever great theologian.
What was it, the red pill or the blue pill?
You have to decide for yourself.
Oh, wow.
I think the clock appreciated your answer.
Yeah.
It chimed right in time.
It's a little of my, yeah. That's why it's a little of my nerdy theology.
Yes.
This was very helpful. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. That's
You'll
really
find
good.
people out there, yeah, that'll try to convince you that we're living in the matrix and that, you're just programmed to be faithful, but, don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Thanks. Thank you.
That's gonna be the tagline for our pop quiz.
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Pastor Nathan.
Nice
Pastor
to hang out.
Nathan.
Yes. Cheers.